welcome back to Trove. I'm so sorry that it's been a while since I made a Trove video. Work's been a little crazy for me, but let's hop right into it today, because today, as I said before, we have finished our class overview, and we are now going to be talking about adventure worlds. So, you might be thinking, there's not a lot to talk about with adventure worlds, but you're kind of right, and you're kind of wrong. So, and that's probably, if you're thinking that adventure worlds are simple, you just get in them and play, that's probably because you've been in Trove for a while. I've heard from some people that the sipping my drink. All right, I've heard from some people that the it's overwhelming with the amount of stuff. Ooh, people asking if I'm streaming. Let's see. Actually, here's a little tip for you. If someone has whispered to you, they have typed /whisper and then your name. But if you would like to reply to them and you don't want to go through that long and tedious process of typing out their name, hitting /R then hitting space will automatically put /whisper and the name of the person who last messaged you. So not at the moment. Recording for YouTube right now. Okay, so sorry about that. So, man, I love the way this guy looks. It all just comes together so nice. Grim Reaper with the horns. Ah, man, I'm looking fly as hell. So, anyways, the people have said it's a little overwhelming trying to figure out what everything is, and let's talk about that. So, when you start in with a new class, right, you're going to be level 1. So I'm level 15 with this guy, and with my gear I'm level... Whoa, look at that. What in the world? That's new. Check that out. Isn't that fancy? That looks really nice. What happens if I hit B? It's over there too. Oh, man. Oh, that's right. Before we do this, I want to open a chaos chest every YouTube video that we do, because I am patron for a while, because I was from the alpha and beta, so... you know, it's kind of, I've accumulated some, so if we open 1 a day and I get 2 a day, and we're also fairly close to mastery level 100, which would put us getting 1 a day anyways, so we probably would be able to stock up a fair bit. So I think opening 1 would be good. Let's do it. Uncommon Pearl of Wisdom. Yes, that is legendary. That is amazing. I've been needing one of those. If you don't know what pearls do, they're for foraging. I'm going to hold on to this one, and I'm going to do it in my foraging video. So, which is coming real soon, because it's super important to the game. But today we're talking about Adventure World. So when you start off at level 1, you will want to be going into the Adventure Portal, which, as you can see, is ideal for levels 1 to 3. Now, in recent patches, they've actually limited it, so that if you are... let's say you're level 2 or level 3, right, you actually can't go into the next higher up, ideal for level 4 or 5. You can't do it yet. And so you do have to start here. So if we hop in here, you can see, and this is something that I'm not really clear why they did it, but they have done it. So you start off in every adventure world in a peaceful hills biome, which is where this little thingy is, which is marking a spawn point. And there's a couple different spawn points throughout the world. So, in here you have a class changer if you're interested, and a rally blade, which we'll talk about in a second. But these biomes are riddled with cornerstones, so you can feel free to place it down and have access to all the little goodies you've put there, and also mark it with your beautiful structure. As you can see, I've spent hours on mine. And this is really the accent point. This is where it all comes together into the most beautiful cornerstone in the world. And this is, of course, made by me accidentally throwing a bomb when trying to hit the rejuvenation station. But that's beside the point. So we have peaceful biome, and all around you can kind of see it's the same biome. There's like 2 biomes on the map, and that's actually exactly what this is. So in the first adventure world, they start you out with only 2 biomes. I am not remembering the name of this one right now, but the other one is Frigga's Fjord, or the Highlands, and this is Cursed Vale. Okay, Cursed Vale, yeah. And as you go up through the non-Uber adventure worlds, they give you access to more and more biomes. I don't really know why they did that, but they did. I guess it's so that you're excited when it's your first class, so you can finally see what the other ones look like, I guess. Not that it's any real big surprise, but you know, especially if you've seen YouTube videos like on, you know, like the ones I've made where I've been in the higher level worlds and you've seen them all already. But that's beside the point. It's still, that's the way it works. That's the truth. And you will be able to play in this biome, or sorry, in this adventure world as much as you want because it is the lowest level one. So even if you get higher and higher, there's no max level where you can no longer join this one. But it will become kind of silly because you're not going to get any useful drops, and you'll be able to just kind of dominate everything in one hit, which is kind of satisfying. But you know, you will be coming back here when they add new classes and you buy that class. So let's talk about the Rally Blade. The Rally Blade is interesting. There's two functions for the Rally Blade. So the first one is you just hit E, just press it. You don't hold it, just press it to teleport to a random player in the same world. If you do not want, for whatever reason, people to be joining you, you can hold E and the sword will go into it, which is a cool animation, and that will signify, I believe, that players if you want to toggle play, it doesn't really say what state that means, but I'm going to take it to mean judging by the fact that this one doesn't have any particle effects and that the sword is like in there and it's like, you know, less eye grabbing. I'm going to take this to mean that this is the off state, meaning that no one can hit the Rally Blade, or if someone hits the Rally Blade, there's no chance they're going to join on me. I'm not allowing people to do that. If, on the other hand, I hold E one more time, bring the Rally Blade out, this is on, I assume, and this means that people could randomly join on me. So if I was interested in, you know, let's say that this world had been in existence for a while, and they kind of addressed this issue when they added more than one spawn point per adventure world. But you can see that people are going out there exploring, and maybe they conquer all the dungeons around me and they go far away. So that's kind of annoying because now I would have to walk great lengths to find any new dungeons. Instead, I could hit the Rally Blade and get brought to a random player. In this case, I believe... Oh, look at that. It brought me to someone at one of the different spawn points on the map. So how about that? That's neat. And here's this. So if I wanted to hit the Rally Blade again, I could teleport to someone new. Okay, so there's something else we should discuss because this is a recent change and I've never discussed it before, and that is the Fog of War, which is relatively new. I believe it was added in the patch directly before launch, I want to say. So let's get in. Well, okay, so first of all, the adventure worlds that are out there are, you know, there's the adventure portal. Whoops. Let me up. Okay, sorry. There's the Adept Adventure world, then there's the Elite, and I believe this is this is Master Adventure World, and finally you get to the Uber Adventure Worlds. As you are probably aware, this is not the only Uber Adventure portal that there is. You can see it says U1 for Uber 1, there's also Uber 2, Uber 3, Uber 4, Uber 5, and Uber 6, which is relatively new. So, yes, so they go up quite higher than this, but all of the Uber level portals, I believe they all say, let's double check this, let's go to the club world. I think the flavor text or whatever, the pop-up icon is a little out of date for this, because I believe they all still say ideal for level 10, even though these days you can't join them. Oh no, it actually does say. So if you see I'm not high enough level, and you might be thinking, wait, hold on, 20 is the max level. Why does it say 26 to join a U5? Well, because, wait for it. Let me find the right button. There we go. Because as I stated before, my gear has been leveled up to the point where they're actually adding levels onto my normal level. So if I maxed this guy, if I made no changes to my gear, and I maxed this guy to level 20, he would be level 30. Even though that would be as high as you could go in terms of an experience level. So that's restricting me from going into U5, but it does say that if you're level 20 and higher, you probably would be able to manage going into U4. But I believe this does assume some level of collaboration, meaning that I probably wouldn't be able to solo everything unless I was willing to use like all my flasks, but that's fine. While we're here, let me just quickly pop this sucker in here so that I don't accidentally like lose it somehow. Okay, so let's go back to let's just join like U2 or something, and we'll investigate the Fog of War. I'm hoping that I find a world that is fairly populated. so you can see what the map looks like. Okay, let's hit them. So, okay, this is really new. That's fine, but you can see that there's like a light as Madbox sort of heads southwest. The land underneath him kind of becomes less grayed out and a little bit brighter, and you can see people are heading northeast as well. Cryogenesis. Cool names. And as they enter new biomes, you can see that there are little icons showing up for dungeons. The single towers mean that it's a 1-star dungeon, or a dungeon with one boss or in it. And then the bigger one, like the one that just appeared in the ocean up here, is a 3-star dungeon, which means that there's 3 bosses in it. Things that also appear on the map include recipe logos for recipe worlds, recipe dungeon, which we'll talk about in a minute, and that's actually one of the reasons why I joined an Uber world here. And whoops. And what else? Well, things that do not appear on the map include shadow arenas. So if you're interested in a shadow arena, you gotta, which we will also talk about in a minute, you will also have to search for it. So, let's talk about what changes as you go through the adventure worlds, higher and higher levels. So obviously, it gets more difficult. The enemies have more health, they do more damage, blah, 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 blah. But also it increases the level of loot. So you will get loot level equivalent with the lowest level that requires you, for all the worlds except the Uber worlds, you will get loot equivalent to the lowest level that you need to join the world. So, for that second level portal, which I believe was the Adept, or maybe it was the Novice, I don't remember, or I guess it was Adept Adventure Portal, you would get level 4 loot, because you need to be level 4 to join it, even though you also need to remain in that world, because you also need to remain in that world for level 5. And maybe even level 6 as well. I don't remember, even though we just looked it up. But my point is that, yeah, you will get level loot equal to the lowest amount, blah, blah, blah. So, that's good. That's that. But once you enter the Uber worlds, you will have a different experience, where you will always be getting level 9 loot. Or usually be getting level 9 loot, I should say. Very rarely you have a chance to get rainbow loot, or relic loot, which is the red kind, or shadow loot, which is the black kind. And of course, as the higher Ubers you go, the chances of you getting the better loot, and of course, so relic is level 10, and that's pretty rare, but then the next up is Resplint, or something. I don't really know if I'm saying that correctly, but that is the rainbow tier loot, and that is a little better. I am Groot. And the top level loot is shadow loot. And that is pretty rare. But if you are able to get into U6, a very high level world, then once out of every 6 chests, you will be receiving a shadow loot. So as you get higher and higher, is this oh yeah, this is for bumper cars. Oh, that's funny. Huh, because this is all rails. Never noticed that before. Yeah, so you want to be in the higher worlds specifically so that you can get the better loot, obviously. So that's one difference, but there's another difference. Oh, perfect, awesome, yes, amazing, yes, this is great. I just got so lucky. Okay, so we are in a U2 world. You can see on the map here that in the compass here at the top of the screen, which does point me in the direction of various dungeons. If I look this way, you can see that this lollipop is a one-star dungeon, because it's the same icon from the map. If I look this way, you can see a scroll for a recipe dungeon. Recipe dungeons, they only spawn in Uber level worlds, and they get more common, I believe, the higher level worlds you're in. So if you're in a U6, you're probably going to come across more of them. They drop special loot. They have the same boss in all of them, which I can show you in a minute, and they always drop a scroll specific to the biome you're in. So here we will get a candy scroll. If I use the candy scroll, I will get a recipe for candy level things. And that means like a decoration or something that I could craft and place in my club world for something that is candy related. But scrolls are also essential to the rune crafting profession. Which means that if I wanted to unlock the textured blocks, or the glowing blocks, the metallic blocks, the glass blocks, you need to get blank scrolls, and you get blank scrolls from deconstructing. I'll go over this in the rune crafting video, but from deconstructing the scrolls from that you get, the biome specific scrolls you get from these dungeons. So I have been holding off on actually unlocking very many of these until I have finished the rune crafting profession, because I'm sort of close. I actually don't need scrolls anymore. Some of the upper tiers don't require scrolls, but then the final tier, in order to get the flying carpet mount that looks like a scroll, you need like 400 scrolls. So I'm still saving them. So let's do that, and then we'll talk about the Shadow Arena, which is this thing that you see to the right here. So let me show you the boss. This boss will be in all of them. You can always identify a recipe base because they will always... Oh wait, sorry. Should have gone in that portal. You can always identify a recipe base because they always have a floating recipe on top of them. There's more than one style of these recipe bases per biome, so they won't always look like the dungeon that I just showed you, but they will always have a scroll. So I break this chest, which is kind of new. It no longer drops like a scroll. It looks like a chest. And then if I break it, you can see it drops this scroll. So I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna take it off my hotbar so I don't accidentally hit T and open it, because I want to make sure I deconstruct it later. Okay, and you saw that boss. He kind of looks like the invaders. He's like a shadowy, floaty guy with a sword, and as you break him, he gets smaller and his armor goes away. So this is a Shadow Arena. Temple? I don't really know what you would call it. Dungeon, maybe? They always look like this, and they do spawn in every biome, and they always look the same, with this hand grabbing down and stuff like this. And this is how you get yourself into... You may have been in a Shadow Arena or Shadow Dungeon before because someone invited you, but this is how you originally start one. So you get your friends, you all travel together, maybe you split up so that you could cover more ground once you find one of these... teleport to each other. Now this is going to be a Uber 2 Shadow Arena because we're in an Uber 2 world. So if you're looking to do an Uber 5 Shadow Arena, one of the more difficult ones, you're going to have to look for it inside of an Uber 5 adventure world. But it will still look the same. Now, we have a couple things here. There's a portal, which is kind of stuck in this box. And there's a Shadow Key Mold and a Shadow Key Mold. Now, in one of the more recent patches, they took away the V key, which used to bring up a crafting menu for you where you could craft bombs and stuff like that on your person, so you wouldn't need a crafting table. And one of those things that you could craft is shadow keys, so that when you got here, you could take your key fragments and key gems, which are needed. Here's a shadow key gem. Here's some shadow key fragments. And if I go over here, you can see to craft a shadow key, you need 10 gems and 400 fragments. Now this shows way more than I have because it's actually pulling from all my chests. So that's kind of nice that it does that. So I don't actually need to carry them around taking up inventory spots on me. So that's really neat. But you can see I can make 4 of them and they make 1 key. So that V menu is gone, and in its place, in order to make sure you could actually craft the keys once you got here, they added a shadow mold key specifically to craft shadow keys. Once you create that, you come over here and you hold E to unlock the Shadow Arena, and it'll bring up a portal for you and all your friends to jump in, and once you're in there, you can start inviting people and start getting your butt whooped by the Shadow Arena or the Shadow Dungeon. This is how you get into both of those. Hey look, what are you doing up here? How'd you even get up here? Anyways, so that's basically that. These, like I said, they spawn in every biome, and they only spawn in Uber level worlds and up, and they might even get more common in the higher level worlds. I'm not sure about that fact, though. So keep that in mind. You won't be able to find these if you are too underleveled and unable to get into the Shadow Arena. And unable to get into the right world you want to get into. So if you want, like I said, if you want Shadow Arena 5, then make sure that you go into a U5, which you'll need to be high enough level to do. Uber 5, that is, Adventure World. Okay, so something else. The map here, the icons on the map are specific to biomes. So if let's see if I can get this to happen. No, I can't. Nah, that's okay. So that's basically all there is to the adventure worlds. I feel like I had more to say, but I've forgotten it over the course of the video. So tell you what, I'm gonna cut away. I'll think for a while. Oh, okay, a couple things. Yeah, nope. Okay, I remember. So one thing is the daily bonus bar on the upper right. This is the essential way for you to get your qubits. They're pretty generous with it too. If you complete enough dungeons every day, let's do another dungeon here so we can watch it go up, you will see that you receive the daily bonus of qubits. And for weekdays, that is 500 qubits. For weekends, they give you double that for 1,000 qubits. So let's go ahead and watch my daily bonus bar. And it's green, it's filling up, and it filled up. Great. So I just have to kill a few more dungeons, a few more bosses, and I will be awarded 500 qubits. You can also see that there is a challenge going on now. I pretty recently made a video explaining the challenges, and not much has changed since then. So a lot of people probably have this information already, since I know that video was pretty popular. But the challenges basically are only available to people in the Uber level worlds, so level 10 and up. And they are how you get the Azulian dragon caches, which is a whole new system to get awesome forging materials, as well as some dragon souls, which unlock allies and mounts for you. The way it works is every dungeon, you can see it says complete dungeons in the Treasure Isles biome. So if we press the map, we want to go to the ocean with the sort of ship steering wheel on it, and that would be Treasure Isles. If we complete a dungeon in that, I'm going to stand here for a second. If you complete dungeons in that biome, you will be awarded a point. If you're in Uber 5, you will be awarded 3 points. If you are in Uber 6, you will be awarded 9 points, because it's the 3, because it takes the points that you earned from being in Uber 5, also known as 3, and multiplies it by 3 to get 9. If you use one of the bonus classes, keep in mind the bonus classes are different for everyone else. They're specific to you. Well, other people might randomly get the same ones, but it's random for every person. You would be awarded another times 3, which would equal 27. So if you're in U6 using your bonus class, you will get 27 points per dungeon or per boss. But if you are like in U2, like I am right now, and if you are the Tomb Raiser, like I am, because the Tomb Raiser is the bonus class, you will get times 3 still. So, you just can kind of mix and match any of those times 3 multipliers based on either being in U5, U6, or with the bonus class. And you try to get as many as you can. You can see it says 0 out of 10. Once I get 10, it will say now get another 40. And then once you get that 40, they say, well, now get another 100. And each time they will award you more and more caches, and that's basically how it works. If you want more in-depth detail, as well as an example of me actually running through one, go check my video on the challenges, posted relatively recently. So, but again, only available in Uber worlds. So, and obviously more multipliers the higher level Uber worlds you get, and that's a great way to get eyes. It's a great way to get a lot of flux, and it's obviously a great way to get the dragon soul things if you want the dragon mounts and the allies and mastery and yeah. So let's talk about what this is. This here is glacial shards, which is one of many biome specific ores in the game. So that's a type of ore that you will only find in this biome. If you are interested in finding primordial flames, you can find them in a couple different biomes, but most commonly you will find them in the Dragonfire Peaks, which is the lava-ish biome over here, and it's brown on the map. So if you're looking for that, that's where you would go. If you are looking for robotic salvage, you have to, or I would recommend looking in, I'm not sure if this is the only place to get it, but you should probably look in the Neon City or Digital Spires biome, which are they're like the black biomes that have the like blue plasma look. It's not on the map right now, so I can't show you, unfortunately. If you're looking for fairy dust, you should head to the Uncanny Valley, or the sort of that dark green dark green forest on the map. I'd say also not on the map, but you should. It's a darker green than, and so it's almost like a little bit more bluer than the Peaceful Hills, and it's much darker than the Plains or Frigus Fjord biomes. So it should be darker than this right here with a different icon. Okay, so let's talk about bottles. Bottles are found in multiple different biomes. They are found here in the snowy biomes, and they are also found in the desert biomes, which I saw one on the map, and we could head to one of those now. Hopefully we could find one of those other biomes along the way that we couldn't find earlier. But yeah, somber souls are able to be found in a couple different biomes, but most commonly found in the purple biomes, which I already forget the name of, even though I just went and checked at the beginning of this video. I can scroll out here. Okay, here. So this is where you find the somber souls the most, in these biomes. This tiny little biome right here, that is an uncanny valley. That would be where you find the fairy dust. Here's the desert. Still no digital spires or neon city. But yeah, so keep in mind, you could also just look those up when you need them. Glacial shards, as I said, in the snowy biome. Here's right coming in on the screen down here is the sort of dark purple / black neon city where you will find the robotic salvage. And these are pretty hard to come across in large quantities. They are not... keep in mind also, the fairy dust and the robotic salvage, you're not going to find ores for them. You have to get them by killing the mobs in the area, and you get them usually like one at a time, and I know there's a lot of mounts that require hundreds of them. So just keep in mind, or even like 40 is a lot. So keep in mind that there's always that option for trading if you are interested in joining the trading chat and setting up a deal to give someone flux for these things, because some people prefer to be on the selling side of that sort of transaction, and some people prefer to just buy it. And you shouldn't really have that much trouble finding a deal. And you might be able to work out giving them something else, but chances are they're going to want flux, FYI. So just make sure you get that. The better loot that you get in the better worlds will deconstruct for more flux. So if you're interested in getting flux, just go higher and higher into the adventure worlds and start dungeoning. Okay, so here's the desert, and if you're looking for the basic ores, such as infinium, see here's primordial flame, not in the Dragonfire Peaks biome, but you will find more of it in Dragonfire Peaks. While you are adventuring, you could get attacked by the invaders, which is what happened here. That's what caused this little crater. This is an example of an invader right here. They usually have some sort of boss buff on them. They have quite a bit of health, quite a bit of knockback. This one, I think, shoots lasers. That's what the thing on top of it means. I'm a little out-leveled for him. And they will always drop loot. Always, 100% chance of that. And I think rarely they drop a tentacle. Maybe. Very rarely. Not sure about that. So, if you are looking to find the normal ores, they spawn in... Oh, that's not an enemy. The normal ores, such as Shapestone, this purple stuff, Formosite, this blue stuff, and Infinium, this yellow stuff. Check in the Candoria biomes, like the one we are in now, because they are pretty common. If you can find a cave like this that's really shallow chocolate, it'll be easy to find. I'll make a video on mining guide and where to find specific resources like this, probably in the relatively distant future. But yeah, these are found in a lot of biomes, but I would recommend Dragonfire Peaks or Candoria. So yeah, that's pretty much that. But let me just see if I can confirm for you real quickly that there are bottles. Yes, I can. Bottles here in the desert biome. Okay, I think the last factor that I wanted to mention is that the ground clutter, the grasses and little rocks, that if you run over with a mount break will drop Glim. It's one of the best ways to get Glim. If you're looking to get Glim, then don't fly, don't take a boat. just, or maybe take a boat, because there are those buoys you can break. I should probably mention that. I didn't even think about that. But especially if you go to a desert that has more dense grass than this one. Oh, look at all that. Look at all that. It's a gold mine down there. Or an ore mine, as the case may be. But you will get Glim for doing that, for running them over with your mount. You could also attack them. You could also dig them with your laser. But it's quickest to just run over them with your mount, just sort of get to where you want to go rather than in a straight line, then by connecting the dots through some of these, and you can see you'll slowly accumulate Glim. Won't take you that long to get 100 or so, or maybe a little more than that, and maybe you could buy some fishing lures with that and maybe get lucky and get even more Glim because you caught some uncommon or rare fish. And that is that. Okay, last thing to mention, which I didn't even think about until right now, is the buoys. If you have a boat with a cannon on it, which I think every boat except for the dinghy, SS Dinghy, the smallest, cheapest boat, every boat has one. And you can see that was a golden shells one. I got 5 golden seashells. This one has a picture of Glim on the side. I'll hit that. Gives me 5 Glim. Golden shells again. You can keep going. Getting more and more stuff. There is also, and I believe these are rarer, there's also ones that will give you 5 flux. But as I said, I think those are pretty rare. So there's probably quicker ways to get flux. There's probably quicker ways to get all these things, but just letting you know that it's there. So if you are traveling by boat, might as well pick those things up. It does not, the cannon does not, it does damage terrain, and last I checked it did not damage mobs, but maybe that changed. It aggroed them, but it didn't change. Ah, there's a flux one. There we go. Alright. So that's Adventure Worlds, basically. It's kind of the breakdown. I know that that was like a long time for something that may have been very straightforward to people, but I just want people, you know, are sometimes confused as to why they can't get into certain worlds, or why they're not finding the shadow arenas, or why they're not, you know, why they don't seem to be coming across recipes, or that kind of a thing. So just letting you know, in general, once you get a character to level 10, you should always you should really try pretty hard to get a good enough set of gear that you can at least survive on your own in U1, because once you get to Uber Worlds, you're pretty much, there's a chance of you coming across everything. There's not really that high of a chance of you coming across some of the rarer things, but at least it's a possibility, whereas in the non-Uber Worlds, it just isn't. You know, you need, they don't spawn. Things like that don't spawn. So, yeah, it didn't do any damage, but it did piss him off. Alright, so with that, I will be leaving it here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful to people, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.